Hello, welcome to MUDIAZ Academy. Today we have a new topic in math. Today we have a quadratic equation. Yes. So in quadratic, so right here we have a x squared minus 4s minus 21. Right? So in quadratic we have a theory method of solving quadratic, right? So the first one we have factorization method, which is the one we are going to use today. And we have a completed the square method, and we have a quadratic formula method, right? So what we are doing here today is a factorization method. So we are going to factorize this quadratic expression, right? So what do we have right here? So to begin, I have right here, first, what we're going to do is this, because right here we have s squared minus 4s minus 21. So this 21 right here, this is the constant, right? So right here, this s4 minus 4s, so the 4 right is a coefficient to what? S. So right here, so this is one that has the power, which is power 2. So in front of this s right here, we have 1, but it's invisible. We don't show it in math. So every letter in math has what? 1. But that 1, it doesn't show, right? So, but right here, I'm going to show it in order to buttress this further. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to use the coefficient of s squared to multiply the constant of this expression, right? So the constant of this expression is 21, minus 21, right? So for me to be able to factorize this, I have to use the coefficient of s squared to multiply the constant of this expression. So how do I do that? The coefficient of s squared is 1, right? So I'm going to say 1 times the constant, which is minus 21. 1 times minus 21. That will give me minus 21. It doesn't change anything, right? It gives me minus 21. So mind you, we still have the original, expression, right? Which is s squared minus 4s minus 21. So let's go, we proceed. I'm not equating anything to 0 because I'm factorizing, right? If I were not factorizing, I would have equated it to what? 0, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm just going to solve it like that. So right here, I have 21. So in order to go further, I'm going to look for the coefficient of what? This s, right? This is s, and it has a coefficient of minus 4. I'm going to look for two numbers. When I multiply them, they give me the constant of this expression. When I add or subtract them, they give me minus 4. So what are these two numbers? I don't know. I'm going to look for them. So these two numbers, I'm going to try 3, right? I'm going to try 3 and 7. Okay, so whenever you get to this junction, you just have to think of two numbers. When you multiply or subtract them, they will give you what? They will give you the coefficient of s. So what are these two numbers right now? So I'm going to pick 3 and 7. So I'm going to use minus 3 times plus 7 equals. These two are going to give me 21. They're going to give me 21, right? So these two give me 21. Mind you, there's a negative sign. I put a negative sign right there in front of it, right? So let me try the other way. They got to what? Satisfy the two, they got to satisfy the two things I'm looking for, right? They have to be what? Minus. they have to be -4, and they have to be what? -21. If they don't satisfy the two of them, the requirements, so which means whatever number you pick or whatever sign you pick is not the one you're supposed to pick. So let me have -3 plus 7 equals. So you owe 3, you have 7. Then when you pay your debt, which is -3, then you're going to be having what? 7. Does this satisfy the requirements? No. So no, it satisfied one of them, but it didn't satisfy the other one. So which means it's not useful. So we're going to throw that to the garbage. Right? So let's go further. So I'm going to use the same numbers but different signs. So what I'm going to do right here. So these two right here are what? Garbage. We don't want them. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm picking the same number but different signs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to say +3 times -7. So +3 times -7. So this will give me 21. It satisfies one of them, one of the requirements. So let me see if it's going to satisfy the other one. I'm going to have the same +3 -7. The same +3 -7 equals, you have 3, you owe 7, equals minus what? 4. So if you look at these two guys, they satisfy the what? The requirements. So which means they are useful. We're going to use them. Okay? So we proceed. Now. I'm going to repeat the expression. What is the expression? S squared minus 4s minus 21. So let me go. So I go further by saying s squared minus 4s minus 21. There we go. Right? So at this junction, what I'm going to do is this. You see this parameter right here. This -4 right here. This -4 is the one that gave birth to this what? The two numbers I invented. These two numbers are what? 3 and 7. Right? So the two numbers are what? +3 and -7. So we're going to substitute those two numbers in place of -4s, right? Because 4s was one that gave birth to them. And when I substitute them, they're going to have what their mother was having, their mother that gave birth to them. Whatever their mothers was having, they're going to inherit that, right? So they're going to take that from their mother, which is what s. So I'm going to repeat everything, but I'm going to substitute the two numbers I invented with their signs. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to say s square. So what was the first number? +3 plus 3. And the 3, because their mother was having s, I'm going to attach s. I'm going to distribute that between them. I'm going to attach s to +3. Then minus what? 7. Minus 7. Their mother was having s, I'm going to add the same s to 7, right? Just follow the step I'm taking. So right here, minus what? The constants, which is what? 21, right? So at this junction, what I have here, first of all, another name for quadratic is what? Trinomial, right? So first of all, I was having what? 3 parameters. Now I have what? 4 parameters, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have 4 parameters. So what I'm going to do right here, in order for me to factorize them properly or very well, I'm going to group them, right? So I'm going to group these two parameters and group these two parameters as well. So how do I do that? I'm going to say s squared plus 3x. I group it, put in the brackets, and this minus right here, I'm going to put it in the middle. Then I'm going to group the other parameter, the last two parameters. So I'm going to say 7x minus 21, close the brackets, right? So right here, I'm going to factorize. At this junction, I'm going to factorize. So the first parameters, we're going to look, what do they have in common? So if you look at the first parameters, they have s in common, right? There's s here, there is s here. So I'm going to take the s out. That's called what? Factorization. When I take the s out, put a bracket right there. So when s divide x, because this s right here is 2, right? So the only thing that can separate, because this is multiplication that bind them together, the only thing that can separate is division. So factorizing is kind of like division as well. So when I take one s out of this s, I'm going to have 1, because s times s is s squared, just like p squared, right? If you have ever listened to Nigerian music, you hear P Square, because they call it what Paul and Peter, right? So that's what gave birth to that name P Square, right? So it's just the same thing. That's why you have S square. For those of you, there's a difference between 2S and S square. They are not the same thing. When you say 2S, this are hiding, you are hiding the addition. When you say S square, that's multiplication. S cube, that's multiplication, right? So that's the story for another day, right? So right here, I have one S remaining. I put the one S there. Put the sign at the middle. Don't forget that the sign is very important. Without the sign, everything is not going to go well. So I put a sign at the middle. So right here, what do we have left? Because here we're having just one S. When we take that S out, we have 3 remaining. Group it. Because this S can multiply them again and give birth to the same thing we have here. This S can multiply everything right here, can give birth to the same thing we have here, right? So before we do that, there's a minus here. You have to be careful with the sign, especially minus. Minus is very jealous. He doesn't share, right? So minus is just like a female. It's very jealous. So what we're going to do right here, so this minus right here, we put it here before we do anything. Put it the way it belongs, right? So right here, we're going to have 7 here. 7 going to 21, right? It's going to be 3, right? 7, whatever they have in common right here is just what the numbers, because 7 is a factor of 21. 7 can divide 21 without any remainder, so it's a factor. Mind you, we're factorizing. That's what we call it, what factorization, right? And before that minus, we have 2 minus here. We have 1 minus here, we have another minus here. They're going to react with each other. So when this minus react with this, it's going to make it to word positive, which is plus sign. So now we bring 7 out. 7 is here. Draw the bracket, open the bracket. So what we have left here is just S, because 7 is out. So when 7 goes here, it's going to divide 21, and we're going to be having what? 3. Before we do that, mind you, this minus sign here, I'll change this minus sign right here to be positive. So here we're going to have plus 3. At this junction, you can see something similar here. So what you see right here, in these two parameters or these two brackets, you have something identical or identical, whatever. So we have something identical right here, right? So which is s plus 3 and s plus 3. So these two guys right here, so they just kind of act like what? Bodyguard. The bodyguards, that's what I call them, right? So what we're going to do right here, you're going to take out the bodyguards. So you're going to say, bring the bodyguards, right? Which is S and 7, and take the send alongside. So you're going to have X minus 7. Close the brackets, open and close the brackets. So right here, you're going to take one of these two because they are identical. They are the same thing. It doesn't matter whichever one you pick, right? So we're just looking for factor, right? And you're going to open a bracket, just say s plus 3, close the bracket, right? So these are the two factors. Let me go further. So these are the two factors of that expression, right? These are the two factors. So normally, quadratic equation always have the maximum of two factors, right? So the two factors that satisfy that expression are what? X minus 7, close bracket, and x plus 3, plus 3. These are what? The answer. These are the factors, sorry. These are the factors, right? So with this, we're going to call it a day right here, please. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do so. I don't know what you're waiting for. I have more things to come. I'm kind of like getting busier these days, but I love what I do. I love math and I love physics. So please subscribe. We're going to bring more things into your physics, mechanics, optics, wave. I'm going to teach a lot of things that has life application on like share with your friends and family, whoever that is in high school, college, whatsoever, share it with them, and then let us see this good news and let them watch it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting us. Have a great day.